Federal prosecutors charged 2 Russian hackers today with ripping off American businesses and schools, even a nursing home. They say the men were so brazen, they named their company Evil Corp.
In November 2022, law enforcement achieved a significant victory by apprehending Vyacheslav "Tank" Penchikov, a cybercriminal who had lived a luxurious lifestyle for almost a decade, despite being on the FBI's most wanted cybercriminal list. Tank, also known as Slava Rich, was arrested in Geneva for his leadership role in the Jabba Zeus group. Zeus is a malicious software designed to capture sensitive information, such as bank account numbers, passwords, personal identification numbers, and other credentials required for online banking. While Penchikov faced charges for his crimes, allegations of a far-reaching racketeering enterprise and a scheme that installed Zeus software on victims' computers, another infamous hacker associated with Zeus, Maxim Yakubets, remains beyond law enforcement's grasp. Yakubets is a true 21st century criminal who, with the stroke of a key and the click of a mouse, committed cybercrimes worldwide, as stated by former Assistant Attorney General Brian A. Benskowski in 2019. Yakubets is wanted for his involvement with computer malware that infected tens of thousands of computers in North America and Europe, resulting in financial losses totaling tens of millions of dollars. In 2019, the US Treasury imposed sanctions on 17 individuals, including Maxim Yakubets, in an effort to disrupt the massive phishing campaigns orchestrated by the Russian-based hacker group. The Treasury asserted that Yakubets served as the leader of Evil Corp, responsible for managing and supervising the group's malicious cyber activities. Before assuming this leadership role at Evil Corp, Yakubets was directly linked to Evgeny Bogachev, a previously designated Russian cybercriminal responsible for the distribution of Zeus, Jabba Zeus, and Game Over Zeus malware schemes. In particular, Yakubets was responsible for recruiting and managing a network of individuals involved in transferring illicitly gained money through the activities spearheaded by Evgeny Bogachev, the Treasury reported. The Treasury also explicitly stated that Yakubets had directly assisted the Russian government. As of 2017, Yakubets worked for the Russian Federal Security Service, FSB, one of Russia's prominent intelligence organizations, providing material assistance to the FSB and working on projects for the Russian state, including acquiring confidential documents through cyber-enabled means and conducting cyber operations on its behalf. The US is offering a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to Yakubets' arrest and conviction. Yakubets and his co-conspirators did not discriminate in their choice of targets. For example, the Nebraska complaint alleges that Yakubets was directly involved in the theft of tens of thousands of dollars from a religious order of Franciscan sisters, Benskowski said. Evil Corp is responsible for developing and distributing the Dridex malware designed to steal banking credentials. According to the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, the original version of Dridex first appeared in 2012, and by 2015 had become one of the most prevalent financial Trojans. In 2014, Dridex operators were sending 15,000 spam emails each day to infect victims' devices, mainly in the US and the UK, resulting in substantial financial losses in both countries. The Treasury noted that, as of 2016, Evil Corp had harvested banking credentials from customers at approximately 300 banks and financial institutions in over 40 countries, making the group a significant financial threat to businesses. In particular, Evil Corp heavily targets financial services sector organizations located in the United States and the United Kingdom. Through their use of the Dridex malware, Evil Corp has illicitly earned at least $100 million, though it is likely that the total of their illicit proceeds is significantly higher. Cyber reporter Joe Tidy ventured to Russia to investigate Yakubets. His investigation commenced in an unexpected location, a golf course approximately 2 hours outside Moscow, which had served as the venue for Yakubets' grand 2017 wedding. Tidy observed that Yakubets' extravagant wedding, filmed by a wedding video production company, featured a famous Russian singer's live performance under a stunning light show, even though Yakubets' face was never shown in the footage. During the investigation, Tidy explored various locations linked to the wedding and estimated its cost to be potentially as high as $500,000, emphasizing the lavishness of Yakubets' lifestyle. While researching Yakubets' work history, Tidy discovered that he used to be the director of his mother's cattle feed company, but at present, there is no registered business or employer associated with him. Tidy tried to visit addresses potentially linked to Yakubets' residence, where he encountered Yakubets' father.
Do you think your son has become so rich? What do you think your son does for work?
А кто сказал, что он богатый?
Lamborghini,
Да, вся это берется в аренду. Ну, во-первых, мы уже...
How did he afford the $600,000 wedding?
в клубе.
Сколько?
600 тысяч, да, 600 тысяч.
Ну, во-первых, это слегонца преувеличено.
No, it's too much.
Okay, so you're saying...
Документ!
Okay.
Документ, посмотри!
The $5 million US reward for information leading to his son's arrest, the highest ever bounty for a named cybercriminal, had led the family to live in fear of attack, Mr. Yakubets said, demanding that Tidy publish his words. He stated, "The Americans created a problem for my family, for many people who know us, for our relatives. What was the purpose? American justice has turned into Soviet justice. He was not questioned, he was not interrogated. There were no procedures that would prove his guilt. He denied that his son was a cybercriminal. When Tidy asked how he thought he had become so rich, he laughed, saying that he was exaggerating the price tag of the wedding and that the luxury cars were rented. Maxim's salary was higher than average, he said, because he works, he gets paid, he has a job." "What does he do for work then?" Tidy asked. "Why should I tell you?" he replied. "What about our private lives?" He said he hadn't had any contact with his son since the indictment, so could not put anyone in touch with him. Yakubets' father refuted the cybercriminal allegations against his son and criticized the US authorities for indicting him. He denied that his son was involved in cybercrime and defended his wealth by stating that Yakubets had a high salary from his job. However, he did not disclose his son's current occupation or contact information. Yakubets is among a growing list of Russian citizens subject to cyber sanctions as the West grapples with responding to cyber attacks. Russian individuals and organizations have faced more sanctions and indictments than those of any other nationality. These sanctions prevent hackers from traveling abroad, freeze any assets they may have in the West, and prohibit them from conducting business with Western firms. The European Union has also started issuing cyber sanctions, primarily targeting Russians. Most of the individuals on these lists are believed to have direct ties to the Russian state and are accused of conducting cyber activities to spy, exert influence, or apply pressure. Some are accused of causing widespread blackouts in Ukraine by hacking power grids, and others are wanted for attempting to hack a chemical weapons testing facility following the Salisbury poisonings. The Kremlin consistently denies these accusations, dismissing them as Western hysteria and Russophobia. The question remains, do these sanctions truly make a difference? While we cannot definitively conclude, Yakubets' father's response when questioned about the sanctions strongly suggests that they do indeed have an impact. However, Evil Corp seems to have remained unaffected. Cybersecurity researchers allege the crew are still carrying out lucrative cyber attacks on mainly Western targets. The golden rule of Russian hacking, according to researchers and former hackers, is that non-state-employed criminal hackers can hack who they like, as long as the victims are not in Russian-speaking or former Soviet territories. The rule appears to work, as cybersecurity researchers have for many years noticed fewer attacks in those countries. They've also found that some malware is designed to avoid computers with Russian language systems. Lilia Yaparova, an investigative reporter working at Meduza, one of few independent news organizations in the country, says the golden rule is helpful for the intelligence services, which can then exploit the skills hackers have developed while working for themselves. It's more valuable for the FSB to enlist hackers in Russia than to put them in jail. One of my sources, who is an ex-FSB officer, told me that he personally tried to enlist some of the guys from Evil Corp to do some work for him, she says. The US claims that Maxim Yakubets and other wanted hackers, including Evgeny Bogachev, who has a $3 million bounty out for his arrest, have worked directly for the intelligence services. It may not be a coincidence that Yakubets' father-in-law, seen in the wedding video, is a former high-level member of the FSB. When asked on the fact that hackers seem to operate freely in Russia, the Russian government gave no reply. When Vladimir Putin was asked about this at the Geneva summit with Joe Biden, he denied that high-profile attacks were originating in his country, and even claimed that most cyber attacks began in the US. But he said he would work with the US to bring order. If Yakubets ever leaves the safety of Russia, he will be arrested and extradited to the US. However, while in Russia, he can enjoy his lavish lifestyle. International law enforcement flooded the media with pictures of Yakubets driving his Lamborghini with a custom license plate that reads "Thief" and spinning circles with his car right in front of Moscow's police. He's also splashing out on pet tigers and lion cubs, going on vacations that cost up to 1 million rubles a week. He's roaming free in Russia, and he's not in prison, and Russia is taking no steps to arrest him. Irina Tsukerman, a geopolitical analyst specializing in information security and cybersecurity, told Cyber News. The Treasury alleges that Yakubets has developed a relationship with all 3 major Russian intelligence services. Russia is more than a haven for cybercriminals. I would say that there is a direct link between some of these cyber groups and intelligence, Tsukerman reckons. Cyber gangs carry out some operations on behalf of the government, and in exchange, authorities help them evade international law enforcement and make money from their illicit activities. Yakubets is also rumored to be close friends with Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Location of these individuals is known to authorities, and it could be easy to arrest them, throw them in prison, or make them disappear. But they are serving their purpose, and there's an apparent, intentional, planned structure to everything happening, Tsukerman said. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, consider subscribing. It would help us post more content in the future.